everybody. This is Rich Hanlin with Mortgage Ballers, and we are back at you today. And we've got the talented one and only Tambra Jenkins out of Northern California. She is one of the best for 2023. She has earned it in the middle of a tough economy. And today we have cornered her in the middle of her busy life to finally get a one-on-one interview. And I hope you enjoy this interview and really get to see how a top originator thinks, what they do, how they stay consistent day in and day out. And guess what? If you didn't know, they're faced with the same obstacles you are. There's no magic. She has to get up every day and figure out how to do it. And today we're going to talk to her and see if we can't pick her brain and find out just exactly how she stays on top. Tambra, thanks for being with me today and finding the time. How are you doing?
Thank you. I'm doing great. One day at a time in this market right now.
Absolutely. You know, Tambra, a lot of people are going to see this. Mortgage Ballers, I think we just hit 17,000 views. We've got over 400 watch hours. More and more people are trying to figure it out. Like for free, they can listen to top people in the industry, what they're doing. And I'm not talking just expert home lending. I'm talking anybody in the industry. It's open for them to see it. You know, people are looking for mentors. People are trying to figure out in the broker world, we do a lot of things on our own. We work alone. We don't have a lot of people to bounce things off of. And that's something you've done really well with. And I'm trying to remember, do you use a team to process your loans or do you do everything yourself? I was trying to remember.
I do everything myself.
Okay.
Mhm.
I have seen you do 20 plus loans in a month in a great market. Johnny Delgadillo does the same thing. He processes his own. I get it. I see people processing their own at 1 or 2, 3, right? But then I see the people that are so organized and dialed it. And you have very unique clients. You have people that do a lot of investments. You deal with a lot of investors just like I do, and they trust you. And I get it because it's hard to find processors that understand not just an investor, but investors that have 50 properties. You know, I've seen you do deals where it's all of a sudden it's 15 of the same last names all at the same time. And I'm thinking, oh my Lord, I know the stress about doing that. But talk to me a little bit. I always want to ask this question. You're successful year in and year out. I've known you for a while now, all the way back to Answer Home Loans. And you've always been a top producer. You've been in the broker world as long as I've known you. I don't know. Have you ever been outside the broker world or always in the broker world?
Always in the broker world since '05.
Since '05. Okay. And then take me through a day. I mean, you wake up in the morning. How do you get your head on straight to do what you do to be a consistent originator and one of the top ones in the nation? How do you do that?
You know, my day consists of constantly thinking loans. I mean, I can't
Okay.
tell you that every single loan, because I do everything myself and I don't hand it off. I know that's probably a lot of people like to hand things off, but for me, my mind works much better when I take a file from start to finish. We're talking
Okay.
relationship building, knowing the family, treating them like they're my own family, being able to talk to them every day. As soon as I wake up, I start the process of what can I do today to market myself for the first few hours and start working marketability, making phone calls. Then I start working on my loans. Then I'm constantly processing. I think because I'm all out there all the time talking to my clients and getting referrals from those clients and real estate agents all the time, I think that's why I've been so successful, to be honest with you. I haven't done
Mhm.
much marketing. All of this is all referral based from right
Sure.
now. So I'm
You
very
know,
lucky.
you have a very big social media presence. I'm always seeing that. You're always right in the middle of it. I love that. There's
The
something I wanted
mortgage
to ask you. What's
queen.
that?
The mortgage queen.
Yes, the mortgage queen. You know, what I was going to ask you was, I mean, besides that you're a health nut and you stay in incredible health and you can do more pull-ups than the average person out there, which makes me look bad. I'm still trying to do my first pull-up at 57 years old. Um, I know you have a family. I know you have daughters. I know how many grandkids you have?
I have two grandbabies.
You know, and you have a son too. I don't want to forget him. You know, you are like the matriarch. You carry a lot on those shoulders. And not only have I seen you carry that, I've seen you're an incredible mom, you're an incredible leader, you're incredible at what you do in this industry. Like, you have a tremendous amount of pride in your work. Your files are clean. Very seldom do I get any calls, hey, Tamara's got a problem file. I mean, you know your stuff very well, which is, your craft. You definitely have figured that part out. But there's another side of you that I think I am more proud of, and it has nothing to do with me, but you do a lot of investors, and one of your investors or somebody challenged you to say, hey, you help me a lot. Why don't you go out and get some investment properties? And I've seen you accumulate what, two properties last year or in the last 2 years?
I've purchased three
Three,
since
right on.
in the last couple of years. Yes. So I was like, I kept on doing all these loans for all my investors, and being a single mom and having all these children growing up. Obviously, if I've been doing this for 20 years now, going on 20 years, you can imagine how much
Mhm.
time do I have really to put into my own
Sure.
investment side, right? So you just wake up every day and trying to put in taking care of kids, take them to school, and and then you just do your work and be a loan officer and try to be the best loan officer you can. And you tend to get sidetracked playing, well, all this money we're making other people, and we're not actually putting it into our own self and our investing our own. So
Yep.
that finally, I don't know what the little snap in me a few years ago, and then I started buying my own property. So yes, and all these investors I was doing, I was like, what am I doing? I need to be doing this. So yeah, it's been pretty amazing. I love it.
I'm amazed in our industry, and this is something that needs to change. I really have, like, this part of the reason for Mortgage Ballers is to try and reach not just people at expert, but I am amazed how many people in our industry do a whole life of this service oriented industry. Even on the real estate side, loan and real estate, we help people become incredible wealthy people, and we see them do it every day, and they have nothing to do with this industry. They just dive in and do it, and they keep buying more and more and more. And probably the first one's the hardest. Then after that, you start to go, okay, I see how this works. I buy it, but then somebody else makes the payment, and I hold on to it for a long time, and I get that depreciation. This gets kind of interesting. But to me, it opens up different conversations. When my investors know that I'm also an investor, they know that I understand what they're trying to accomplish. They know that I understand what a good rental is versus one we need to run from, and find that my relationships have deepened and strengthened with my investors. And some of them, I mean, I'm amazed. Some of my investors are old school people. They drive old beat up trucks. You wouldn't know it, but yet they've got a portfolio of 100 doors. And you're like, you know, how? And they're like, I just am constantly looking. And my guy that has the most, he makes offers all the time. He doesn't buy everything, but he looks for value, and he has a real estate agent that makes tons of offers for him. And then every now and then someone says yes, but he's always looking for a specific entry point, and he's not afraid to ask for it, and he's patient. He's always patient. But I've watched you accumulate, and I imagine over this next run, I would expect to see you at probably 10 plus properties, because you have found a mechanism in place, and you found value, and you found specific areas in your area that you know very well. And there's value right where we're at if you know where to look. And I'm like, God, if Tamara can do it, man, what's everybody else's excuse? Because Tambra has a family to take care of. She has responsibility. It's all on her shoulders. She has every reason to say why she shouldn't be able to do it, but yet she's getting it done. What's our excuses? The truth is, we make too many excuses, and we allow everybody else gain when we can be right there with them. I just wanted to throw that out there. That's one thing I really like about you. So we talked about a day in the life of Tambra. Um, Number one, you're off to another great start this year. It's been a tough time. I remember I called you in 2023 and said, "Hey, guess what? You're actually one of our top 20." And I remember you're like, "Oh my God." Brandy Stevens did the same thing. What? Really? Because you would say it was a challenging year, but it shows you just how challenging it was for everybody. How
Yes,
did you make it through? And how are you? I mean, how are you keeping your mindset positive, knowing that,
it's
well,
changed.
if you've been since 2005, you've probably seen some different markets, which is to your experience level. But take me through the mentality that it takes to be in this business and not let the rates kick you in the stomach too much.
Oh boy. Well, because of the past that I've had, I made sure that I set myself properly so my overhead's low. I don't have a whole lot of debt. I knew that what comes up has to come down, so I
Yeah.
was prepared for it. But coming into this year, you still have that negative getting up every day, knowing your phone calls have lessened, considerably, and the phone calls that you do get are not necessarily 100% anymore. Typically, you get a phone call, you can get a deal done out of
Yep.
every phone call. But now our phone calls are, if you get five, maybe one, you can do something for. Usually, our phone calls that we're getting now are people that are in distress.
Yeah.
So, and that's sad. And these are your clients that you had in the past that are calling you. So all you can do is be there for them, be optimistic for them, tell them to hold on,
Mhm.
don't get rid of their low interest rate they have now. And for me, dealing with it, getting all of that, not fulfilling phone calls anymore, it is hard because you have to constantly tell yourself it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Especially, I was there in the time when in '05 to '08, it was
That was
stressful.
tough.
I got to tell you, I had four kids that I was feeding. I had rent to pay. That's when I was renting, and I didn't have a dime to my name. My lowest, I was doing low. My tax return was a low income tax return, taking care of four children, and I didn't even know how I did it then.
Mhm.
So I will tell you that it's very hard not to be in that dark place, but you have to think positive and think one day at a time. I would grind, pick up that phone, talk to people. They'll keep you motivated. Call your clients in the past, talk to them, saying, hey, interests are they're going to come back down. Don't worry, we're going to be there for you. It's right around the corner. And so, I mean, it's a constant battle, obviously. But I think being around people constantly and positive, and maybe other people that are in your industry, kind of hang out with them a little bit more. And, because what's positive, you hang around positive people, it's going to help you mentally each day. So, but yet it is
That's great
difficult.
advice. It's and just to ask you, because you said, did you get into the industry in 2005, or is that when you got into the broker side?
In 2005. Hmm.
What did you do before that?
I owned a salon. So I was in the beauty
Okay.
business. And
All
the
right.
salon I moved out to Roseville in 2000, and I built a beautiful salon out here in Roseville. And when it opened, the clientele that was coming in were spending tons of dollars in my salon. And there were women, just successful women, just walking in. Here's my credit card. Here's my credit card. I'm like, and then I was sitting down with them, and I'm very upfront, 14 hours a day working in front of these people.
Right.
Talk to them and say, "What do you guys do for a living?" And you know what they? And
Whoops. Sorry. I'm going to turn that off. I thought I turned it off. Now it's off. Sorry about that.
okay. So the ladies told me that we're in title, we're in escrow. I'm a real estate agent. And I'm like, here I'm working 14-hour days just to make pennies. And I have these ladies spending $3,000 a time they come into my salon. I'm like, I want to do what they're doing. So
Mhm.
that's how I got into being a loan officer and get my real estate license in '05.
So, and you just said it. I know that you have a California DRE license. I know you deal with real estate and stuff like that, but I know you've also used it, your license to the fullest as far as real estate for yourself and loans, things like that. It's a very powerful license versus the DFPI, which is only for loans, and as you should, I like that you do that. That's a great. I didn't know that about you. So I actually learned something about you today. I need to start asking people more of that. I just assume everybody's been in this business forever. I mean, I feel like I got a tattoo on my back that says 34 years and it changes once every year, like 35, 36. And boy, it's gone by fast. Let me tell you,
I
life
will
don't slow down for nobody.
No. When you have children that you have to feed and you go and start up a new business like that, I had no other income but just getting my license and starting to work for a broker, and I just had to hit the payment, getting those real estate agents. I didn't have leads being fed to me. I had to go out and get it, and that's what I
Yeah.
did.
No,
So
that's awesome.
no
So
failing. Yeah.
that leads me to a question. Now, obviously you got a whole family, but if you had to pick up the whole family in your arms like this, and I blindfolded everybody, and I just dropped you somewhere outside of your comfort zone, you're no longer in California, but we'll assume you already have your license there. How do you immediately start to recreate yourself to what you are now? I mean, you told us what a day in the life were, but that's a day in a state that you've been in a long time, where you have everybody that knows you. But now you got to go somewhere else, and those investors aren't there no more. California's been cut off. The earthquake hit, and it floated out to sea like a little island. And now you're in Nevada. Now you're in Wyoming. What do you do to immediately start becoming successful?
What I would do is I'd get up, put on a suit, some high heels, and I would just go to each real estate office and start introducing myself. And you have to do it. And you just
Mm-hmm.
keep on going make meetings, tell the agent, I want to sit down with you. Can you please, pencil me in? Just give me 5 minutes. That's it. I don't want to sell you anything. I just want to introduce myself. I can work hard for you. I would go to every single real estate office, and that's kind of where you have to be, because you don't the clientele I have are Californians, right? So they're
Right.
not necessarily purchasing homes where I'd be moving to. So yes, that would be the first thing that I would do. Is every day I'd put in at minimum 5 hours and go all day long to all those real estate offices, just knock on doors.
I like that you say that, because I have veterans right now that are really struggling right now. There are certain markets that are hit harder than others. I have people that are setting records, which is interesting, in the same market. But there are certain states that California leads us in, but California can also lead us out when things turn too. That's one thing I love about California, because some markets are much slower to react. I think Texas is much slower to react. Like, everything's a follow. But if I know California starts to take off, then you start to see it get contagious across the United States. But California kind of leads us in as well. Like, we can see that slow down, and then it's just a matter of time before we fill it across the United States. And I think we're filling it right now from a whole. I would say that 80% of our business is done by, well, I would say that 80% of our business is done by 35% of our loan originators, but the other 65%, they're struggling right now. And I know that, and I hate it, because there is a lot of single moms out there. Unfortunately, that's just the way life is. There's probably some single dads in there too, but um, money is different. And you said something that's so important, and a lot of people will skip over it, but you said you keep a very low overhead,
Mm-hmm.
which allows you to survive better. I lost everything in 2008 when that crash happened. I had way too much overhead. I was carrying a business and personal, and when it went, I mean, I was running $50,000 a month, and I saw money go out the door very quickly. And I've always seen fast corrections. A couple months, a new product comes out, but not that time. This time it was just a slow. I felt like they put a rope around my neck, and they just slowly started tightening it,
Mm-hmm.
tightening it, and eventually it slowed down. People are not eating out as much right now this second. They're not going to the movies. They're not buying cars. I mean, everything has slowed down. If you're buying a house, and guess what? Probably right now is the best time to buy the house, even though rates are high, because they're going to lower those rates. And then Catherine Barnett said it today. Guess what? There's going to be 30 people in line for every single house. But Either you do it right now and eat the rate and refinance it later, or get ready to battle for those things and possibly have to pay more for that house. You're going to fight one side of that battle. Which one's easier? I can tell you from a refinance standpoint, not tell anybody listening to it, if you need a loan, you should get with Tambra for a purchase. It's easier when you already own the house because you can sit on it and refi. It's only you, the underwriter, and the appraiser. You're not waiting for the seller, the seller's agent. You're not waiting for title, anybody. And we can close those usually in 10, 15 days. But that seller line for the buyers is going to get crazy, where you could have to make many offers just to get one accepted. And I hate that about the industry. It's like feast or famine, but they haven't been adding houses fast enough. We have a lack of inventory all over the place. And if you sold your house today, you're like, well, where would I go? Because I'm not going to pay another 200,000 to move up into something different. We seem to have trapped ourselves in this little interesting box, and I'm hoping they can figure out how to do it. Because that's going to be the difference from 2008 to this time, is how we come out of it. And a lot of people have low rates on those first mortgages, and it's going to take something to make them want to move or come off of it. Where do you see, and I'm just asking, there's no right or wrong answer, where do you see the industry going? You've seen a lot. We're using AUS. You see, electronic appraisals. You see everybody's doing everything electronically now. I'm not sure it's any faster than when we used to push paper, because good people could push loans in 10 days, even manually. I try and think 5-10 years from now, where this broker world's going to be, and where we've come from the last 10 years. And I'm just thinking they've got to find a way to make it easier. When I went to a signing, you did a couple signings for yourself, but why would we have 150 pages to sign just for one transaction? I mean, they've got to figure out a way to do this better. I'm hoping that changes, because most of it's called fill in or hyperboil, but it's just junk. Just tell me the note, the deed of the trust, and the terms and what I'm paying, and get out of my way. Do we really need the other, 127 pages? And are they there to protect you, or are they there to protect somebody else? That's what I'm always trying to wonder. But what do you think is coming in the next 5 to 10 years?
What do I think? Well, as far as the
What do
signing
you
goes,
pair?
I do. I do. Well, you know what? I don't like change that much.
Okay.
So I like the way I do things and the way things are, because I noticed that the more there's technology and easier for clients to do things, is not necessarily, I believe, good for us loan officers all the time, because it may take away from the one-on-one, getting to personally know them, building that relationship with them. The reason why the reason why I had a really good 2023 is because of my relationships I had with my clients. And I
Yeah.
like the easier process. Yes. I love how the banks have changed, and the platforms are getting easier. Yes. Easier for me, but I still want that one-on-one relationship with my client. If they make it if they have, how they, I won't say a certain company, but you upload everything into the system. You're missing that one-on-one where you can give it to the loan officer. The loan officer can talk to the client when they're doing that. I love that part. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's why I maintain and retain my clients.
Well, what I have found is, I think people, their incomes are getting more difficult. The way they, you'll have husband and wife with their own accounts, separate accounts, and they have a third account that they contribute to that goes towards the house account. And you're seeing people paid in a lot of different ways now. Sometimes it's piecework, sometimes it's by the hour as a truck driver with a small base. And they're trying to always find a consistency and an average, and find a trend up or down. And I'm just like, eventually they're going to have to figure that out, a person's ability to pay
Mhm.
based on how, because people are getting more creative. I mean, you're self-employed, the way you run yourself and your business with your license, but people are getting more creative. There's more opportunities for things online, and people are starting a lot of side gigs, things like that. Who wouldn't want to be self-employed? I mean, and control your day and not feel like you got a shackle around your leg. I mean, you could probably get a job in 2 seconds. I'm unhirable at this point in time because they just, I couldn't sit still long enough behind a computer at Bank of America. It just wouldn't work.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I would be going crazy. Plus, I'm at 57. I'd be taking too many bathroom visits. They like, Rich, you're breaking all the rules. You know, one thing about you, Tambra, that number one, it makes me mad in a good way. But I always share things about you because you take such incredibly good care of your health. Like you eat well. Number one, do you ever eat anything with sugar in it? Do you ever eat a carb? You know, you have figured out how to keep Tambra at the top of her game. And when you hear your story, the backstory, you have to understand why. You know what your why is, and you got kids and grandkids, and you're like, there's no way you are ever going to fail. And that's what I like about you. Other than, we won't talk about football and the Rams and things like that. We will leave that side out of it. I don't want to start a fight.
No. 61 more days, by the way.
The countdown has started. But
Yes.
how do you become a Rams fan up in Northern California? I don't know. I lived in Southern California. I was a Rams fan back when they had the Jack Youngblood and those kind of guys, but over the years, I tried to go 49ers for a while. I did go for 49ers last year. I loved the story of the quarterback last year coming out and getting his opportunity. Is that Purdy? Was that his name? Josh Purdy or something like that?
No, Purdy is the last name. Yeah.
Okay.
The Niners, yes.
I'm getting them mixed up. But I have the Atlanta Falcons out here. When I moved to Georgia, I said, hey, what's it like to go to a Falcons again? They're like, who? Who are you talking about? And I said, the Falcons. They said, man, we only got two teams here. We got University of Georgia Bulldogs and we got the Atlanta Braves. I'm like, and I realized, duh, okay. It's all college football and it's all Braves. I mean, we've got some great colleges right around here. We got Clemson an hour up the road. We got Tennessee right above us. We got Alabama right below us. We got Georgia Tech. I'm just like, they don't acknowledge anybody here. It's the University of Georgia football and it's the Braves. And it's funny, after 2.5 years here, I kind of feel the same way.
Nice. I love it. I know I've seen you guys on social media. I'm loving it. Yeah. I'm jealous because I'm not there, like having all that fun. So.
Georgia's been a good change for me in the sense that there's no way I could have done what we're doing here from California. I'd feel behind every day with the 3 hours with the trying to fund loans. That 3 hours has made a difference. Now we have Hawaii as one of our places, and that's 6 hours from us. So we're trying to keep the admin side of stuff going, and we got the funding side over here. Just little things to try and figure out the flow of the business as the day goes. So I start getting calls about 2:00 my time every day, because that's when California really kicks in. And we have a lot, most of our loan officers, the highest majority, are in the state of California. So when they get going, they're ready for answers, they're ready for follow-up. That has nothing to do with you, of course. Incredible originators. You're a top originator at Answer Home Loans, where we first met, my last company. And watching you day in and day out, you just keep doing it. You always have a smile. Even when you're stressed, you're smiling. And believe me, this industry can stress you out. I know that. It tries to take the best out of us, but you get numb to it, I think. And then that's when you really start to become incredible at this industry, is when they can't throw anything at you. It's like, bring it on. I've been there, done that. I got you. And I think your clients see that in you. They feel that confidence because they just say, Tambra, this is why I want to buy. Let me know when to sign. And you're like, I'll get back to you. And they trust that.
I'm really blessed.
You have people, tell me this. There's going to be people that will see the interview and they're going to go, oh my God, I totally relate to Tambra. I'm a single mom. I'm learning this industry. I need that confidence. I need a mentor. I need someone to talk to. I need someone to have, a one-on-one with. Is that something you're even open to? I know you're busy. I know you have realtors, and maybe it's a realtor that might see this and say, hey, I want to work with her. which would be awesome. And I would challenge any realtor that sees this that if you find any connection, you should reach out to Tambra, because you'll, especially if you do investments and work with investors, you definitely need to talk to Tambra. But how about you just your average loan originator? And I don't care if they work for Expert or they work for some other company. Is that something you're open to mentor other people or have a conversation with somebody that maybe doesn't have that confidence that you do?
I actually love it. I actually gravitated to, I have a lot of young people that I run
Mm-hmm.
into, and I tell them about, oh, you should do this, and or you should come and work for me, or just come and try it out. Like if they say I want to get my real estate license, and I just I love young people, but I also obviously love older than that. The 20-year-olds are amazing. They're just so open minded, and I just have this special place in my heart for them. But I love mentoring. That's probably one of my top things that I love and I always have time for.
Uh-huh.
Anytime I get a phone call, if they were to call me, come over, let's go, to go look at real estate, let's go, marketing. That's amazing to me. So yes, I would love that. If they ever wanted to reach out to me, it warmed my heart for one, because I just love helping. I'm more in the helping. Obviously, I have 4 children, so I have that mama bear. I want to make you a better person, help you to be a better person. That type of, yeah, for sure.
And I couldn't remember. I know that you've also dabbled in solar. Are you still able to do solar? Because I know solar is a big deal in California, and that's something that you became experienced in as well.
Yeah, so what I did is I looked at my whole portfolio, and I was looking at my clients, and my clients were purchasing homes, and then they'd go and put solar on their homes, or ones that didn't have solar on their homes, and they were getting quotes, and there were thousands of dollar quotes. And my son is also my partner, and he's big. He's been doing solar for over 20 years himself, since he
Wow.
was 18 years old in the industry. And he's an engineer. So he knows everything backwards, front and back of solar. And he goes, Mom, they are charging so much money to everybody, and by thousands and thousands of dollars. So, yes. So I decided to start up solar and to help sell it to other people, save them thousands of dollars for a fraction of the price based on what they're paying, what they would be paying. So yeah.
That's awesome. I remembered that on the spot, but I don't think people realize. So, we have someone who does loans for people. We have someone who is a mom. We have somebody who works every day to stay healthy and have the utmost energy. We have someone who became an investor, has 3 investments. We have somebody who does solar. Like, I want people to really understand that's not normal. Like, most people are just trying to be an loan originator, right? And that is what's incredible about you is you have reinvented yourself in so many different ways to make sure that you are going to make it, you're going to overcome, you're going to survive. And that is probably one of the best attributes of you. Maybe it's even a gift. Not everybody is born or wired that way. And most people are, God, I don't have the energy, but I always see it with you as what else can I do? What else, who else can I help? What else is out there? Is there anything I'm missing? You're very open minded and it leads you into incredible things. And so now you have the ability to talk to clients to see the value, like, hey, that's good, let's get this taken care of, but we need to talk about solar too. And you have a new sales pitch. Now you're one of the only people I think that we have an expert that does that. And so that might be worth a one-on-one conversation to talk just about solar, because I don't even know that much about it, if I'm being very honest with you. And just in the little bit that you said, I'm already like going, oh, I'm over my head. But that is very powerful that you do that. And California and a few other states are very big on solar, and they have, I think, requirements by a certain time to make sure people are conforming to that. And utilities are not getting any cheaper by any means. If you could, it's your video. If you could talk to all the loan officers out there, whether they're brand spanking new or they've been at it for 25 years, to pass one nugget of knowledge onto them to get more business, specifically around getting more business, what would be that suggestion that Tambra Jenkins would give?
Number one, stay motivated. Each
Okay.
morning that you, every day that you wake up, you need to say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. Who am I going to reach out to today? Keep that always on the top of your mind. Who am I going to call today? Whenever you get a real estate agent that maybe you had a sale with in the past, call that real estate agent. And a lot of people don't think about that on the listing side. If you're representing the buyer, then there's a listing agent. Don't forget that listing agent already knows you from that transaction. So 9 out of 10 times you did a great transaction with them. Reach out to them because they are hurting too as well. I just
Mhm.
ran into some agents recently. So when you think they're doing well and maybe they have their loan officers, no, they're actually stretching themselves as well. So they need an outlet with other loan officers to kind of pep them up as well. I'm going to tell you that
Sure.
is going to work. It's a very powerful tool. So if I can help anybody out, we have our real estate agents that we've always reached out to. Look on those contracts, our past contracts we did. Who's the listing agent? Have we spoken to the listing agent? I think that's a big one.
No, that's great advice. I agree. I'm even guilty of that. We get paid, we get done. Everybody, I always see all the email confirmations. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good job, you. Good job, you. And then we disperse and we all go our separate ways. That is probably your biggest moment, including, I believe, impressing your title and escrow people as much. So when they're talking to the agents and they go, God, I'm having back. You know what? I had a great experience with somebody the other day. You know who it was? Oh, here it is right here. It was Tambra Jenkins, an expert. My God, she was good. You should take a look at that because that was one of the best transactions we had in a while. And when you have other people giving that, and it's not all deals are easy, but how you react and follow through even in those toughest deals when they don't go good. Do you blame everybody? Do you take responsibility? Do you find solutions? Because people start freaking out really fast and somebody's got to bring it back together and quarterback it. And a lot of times that can be the loan officer if they're strong enough to do it. Because you got to carry not only your kids, you got to carry all your borrowers and everybody on your shoulders. And you do a great job at that. You really do. Um, I get hardly any calls ever from Tambra asking me, Rich, since you're my broker, can I ask you a question? She never has questions for me. If she's calling, it's hey, are we going to have an event this year? When's our next event in California? I'm just like, ask me a question. Let me be your broker for a day. But in all honesty, I'm very lucky because I get to have these business friendships with people, as I get to know them over time. And that's one thing I appreciate about you, Tambra. You're incredible at what you do. And you're the reason that I get out of bed every day is because I get to deal with people like you, and that's exciting. People that really know this business inside and out. And many times better than me, quite honestly. We just have our own strengths and our own weaknesses. But when we combine all that, man, we can do really good for people from our realtors to our borrowers. But that's my heart is to see every realtor, every loan officer step it up and get a couple rentals for themselves. And by the way, if you're watching this and you're a realtor or loan officer and you have never thought about when's it your turn and what's it look like to get an investment property, you should reach out to Tambra and talk about that because she's not only done it once, twice, but now 3 times. And I can tell you, was she scared on the first one? Absolutely.
Yes.
But she did it. Do not let
Woo!
your fears overcome. I've seen you flip those properties and turn them into incredible looking properties in order to don't be afraid to renovate, right?
Right.
Like I see you in there swinging a hammer. Watch out. I mean, you're doing some big renovations.
Toilets and replacing toilet rings.
I mean, that's amazing when I see it. And you're always taking pictures because people wouldn't believe it. I don't think they'd believe that you swing a hammer or change out toilets. And you do because you know your why every day when you get up and before you go to bed. You're not out there doing crazy stuff that you're going to break a leg and be down for 3 months. Now, can that stuff happen? Yeah, but you're always 5 steps ahead in thinking of what's coming, and trying your hardest. And you're just incredible with looking for different avenues, different income avenues, different streams. We all should be doing that. That's the industry we're in. We're entrepreneurs. Why aren't we all doing that? So thank you that you are doing that, because I talk to people about doing it, but today I get to actually talk to somebody who is doing it so much. So congratulations on that. I think that is huge that you do all that you do. All right. I'm going to put Tambra's contact information down below. She said it. She said that you can reach out to her. Take her up on it, because not too many loan officers in the nation right now would do that. And the fact that some of the best loan originators are willing to do that, why wouldn't you do that? You can see she's normal. She's not crazy. You know, she's not going to bite your head off. She's actually saying, how can I help? And that is what's incredible, is to have that gift of wanting to help others. So thank you that you have that. Thank you that you do it for the borrowers. Thank you that you do it for the realtors, your investors, all of them. And just thank you for your partnership. I wish you nothing but success for the rest of this year. And Tambra, I can't wait till we have a follow-up next year and you get to tell me that you now have 5 more properties. I mean, that's what I see happening for you, especially if we hit this next market. You are so prepped for what's getting ready to come, because you have not allowed the market to slow you down. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. What do we say at the end of Mortgage Ballers? We say tune in next time, but until then, stay thirsty, my friends. Thanks, Tambra. I appreciate you doing that too. All right, take care.